This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to educating and inspiring through conversations with today's top talents in the world of glass. We will be dissecting their journeys in hopes to deliver actionable content that you, the artist, can start implementing now, helping you grow not only as a creative spirit, but also a successful artistic entrepreneur. With a little organization, relationship building, and your artistic ability, you can obtain greatness. Climb aboard, whether an artist, retail owner, or enthusiast. We have a ton of fun in store for you. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show.
You're listening to the Wise Guy Radio Show.
This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is brought to you by Mountain Glass Arts. For the month of May 2019, Mountain Glass is offering their Boro sale. You can get Golden Gate tubing at 40% off. No coupon code needed. And for all you beautiful soft glass nerds, they have their soft glass sale. Creations is messy. Just use coupon code MESSY and you will save 40% off your glass there. And don't forget, Mountain Glass, they have weekly sales as well going on. Right now they have a weekly sale for soft glass and for Boro. I'm not going to tell you what it is because they are constantly changing, and this is for the entire month of May, this advertisement. You know what I'm saying? And also, don't forget, they also have lots of kiln sales going on right now. They have a Scut Scarab Mini Glass Master 33. Regular price is $2,925. Right now, you can save $800 on that, as well as an AIM Kiln P9M with the Mercury Relay. Normally, they're priced at $1,600. Right now, you can get it for $1,199. And these sales are great because basically what you're doing is saving on shipping, because shipping costs anywhere from $200 to $500 depending on the size of the kiln. And they also have some torch sales going on right now. They have a Herbert Arnold hand torch. They have a Carlisle CC, which is my torch I go to. Been using it for 20 years now. They are normally priced at $1,336. Right now you can get one for $1,199. And shipping on those guys are pretty affordable, so definitely do that. And if you're going to be getting a CC, right now their sale is on their number 3. I don't know if the number 5 is on sale as well, but I use the number 5, and I recommend the number 5 over the number 3. That's just my preference there. Just I would like that bigger center flame. So anyways, any comments, questions, or concerns, just go to mountainglass.com. That's mountainglass.com. Hey, what's happening? Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show, episode number 214. This is your host, Jason Michael. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Sorry about the delay of episodes here. My schedule at work has been a little bit crazy, and then my times off I spent some days with my kids, a little time off to catch up with them, and had some interviews lined up, and I wasn't able to get them to work because of my schedule and retakes and stuff, and also good old technology issues with this stupid iPhone and its new plug that it has. I had lost the adapter that came with my phone, and so I bought a different one on Amazon, and then I could record anything audio off my phone except for phone and Skype. Pain in the ass. So I had to rebuy a new one that was actually an Apple, I guess, knockoff, but whatever. So it now works because I use my phone mostly for Skype, and because my laptop, being out in my studio, doesn't have the best signal. And anyways, no excuses, but I'm just letting you know. I feel like a dickhead for not having these podcasts out like I want to. So hope you're doing well. It's middle of May almost here, which I can't believe it, 2019. It's just crazy how fast this year is going by. I hope you're healthy, wealthy, and wise and staying busy out there. We're coming into the summertime season, which tends to be a little bit slow out there, depending on where you are located around the world. So just make sure that, it's on a little side note for business, that when it is busy out there, when it's the holidays and show times and you're doing the trade shows, whatever, that you do put what they call a squirrel fund away, a little bit of money on the side. That way when it is slow, you have all those nuts out there available for you to use at your benefit to pay the bills and whatever. So today's episode features Chelsy Joy Velasco. She goes by Chelsy Joy. She's a wellness and transition advocate. We had a really fun conversation talking a lot of stuff about health and wellness. Back a couple months back, or actually I guess about a month ago, those that have been staying on top of the shows here know that I was dealing with some really bad lower back pain. So much so that I had to call out of work and took a couple days off. And a glass artist, Markovich, out there hit me up and told me to get a hold of Chelsy. and she's on Instagram at C4 Wellness. I'll put her links in the show notes. She's super cool chick, has a lot of information and insights, and came up with the 7 pillars of health, which is basically, if you can incorporate all these things into your life, it's going to help you become the best you in a sense. And it's basically the 7 pillars that she has are stress management, hydration, exercise, nutrition, detoxing, cellular renewal, and community. And we get into all these conversations and topics on here. And some of the stuff some people might think is a little woo-woo, kind of hippie bullshit. But the reality is this stuff is all factual and is beneficial to all of us. And a lot of us out there have chronic pain or health issues. And a lot of it stems from our diet and from our mindset and from stress. And if you can begin to eliminate the stress and the unhealthy living and start to incorporate positive thoughts and mindfulness and being grateful and proper nutrition, and by experimenting with who you are physically, physiologically, chemically, all that stuff, you're going to find that you can start to eliminate certain things from your life. Like myself, I've discussed before, I'm going on now to almost 2.5 months of not smoking pot. Now, I'm like I said, I haven't completely quit because I have smoked a bowl 3 different times in the last 2 months, and you know, I'm an advocate for cannabis, and I always will be. And I will always partake, but it's just something that I wanted to eliminate from my routine to see how I was going to sleep better, to get my mindset and my thought process to be more clear. Because I was smoking after work and getting home late, and I wasn't getting a good night's sleep, and I didn't realize how it was affecting my day because my nighttime sucked because I wasn't getting good sleep. You know, all this other stuff. And in all reality, I feel the best I've felt in probably about 20 years just on a mindset type of space and the clarity I have. And now I'm going to start incorporating my fitness and my routine back into my life to then reintroduce cannabis slowly back into my life, to kind of, again, experiment and see how it's going to affect me. And I will keep you up to date and let you know. But that being said, we talk about 2 hours worth of conversation here. We get a little nerdy on certain topics. I do discuss a lot of my personal experiences with certain topics that we cover, her personal experiences as well, and then just overall generalized topics. And as we both state later in this podcast episode, that neither one of us are doctors or what have you. She is a specialist. I'm a person who has experimented and educated myself through podcast episodes, reading books. I do have a medical background, so I do know some medical stuff out that, in terms of how our body works and what have you. But a lot of it really comes just from me experimenting with myself. Again, like I've said, just experimenting. I'll take a whole bunch of shit out of my life, slowly reintroduce it after a couple months, see how I feel. If it affects me good, affects me bad. If it affects me bad, then I eliminate that from my life. This could be friendships, relationships, all kind of stuff that we have to go through and deal with. So I just want to put that out there, and just I hope you guys enjoy this episode and listen to it all the way through. For the women listening to this episode too, Chelsy talks about her dealing with fibromyalgia and some of her own female issues. We don't really get into a lot of the female talk per se, but she does share her experiences and things that she's dealt with. So some of the women out there in our community that are listening to this, I hope this is beneficial for you as well. It's beneficial for human beings in general. So whether you're a glass blower or just listening to this podcast episode because you like to listen to this kind of stuff, and I do appreciate you listening. That being said, I also finally got my first YouTube episode out. The top 5 reasons why you should not be a glass blower is available on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Wise Guy Media. I'll put a link in the show notes for that. I'm super pumped about it. Finally got things up and rolling. Did all my video work and did everything on my phone, which is amazing. The technology we have to be able to do a lot of our stuff we need to do these days on our phones. It's not all going to always be done on my phone as I get on my computer and start, having it look a little bit more professional. But I think for being on my phone, it looks pretty damn good. There's a couple, it's not perfect. It's my first episode, but I hope you do like it. I've gotten some great feedback on it so far. And again, we're going to be doing a whole bunch of series, top 5 colors. Those who've listened to past episodes know I have my little Crash in a Kiln round. I'm going to be compiling some data that I've gotten from the artist and their answers, like the top 5 colors that they like, and I'm going to do a whole episode on the top 5 colors from the podcast episodes. I'm also going to be putting surveys out and asking questions and posts on social media from you, the listener, because I definitely want to incorporate you into these shows. Start doing some like hype color episodes, top 5 favorite tools that you use, and it's all going to be from feedback from you, the listener. Also, our Patreon group, we have 2 guys in there right now. I want to get this community growing because it's going to be a space where I'm going to be really utilizing for this YouTube channel to bring you into what I'm doing in terms of my content. And a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be asking is going to be exclusive for the Patreon group, for my wise asses. You can find the Patreon group at patreon.com/wiseguyradio. For as little as $1 a month. That dollar will help support the show, helps pay the bills here, keeps the lights on, and helps to also allow me to travel a little bit, to go to studios, to go to trade shows, start getting out there to these events and cover them for you, but also to help to buy little giveaways, T-shirts, and little fun things I'm going to be doing. But really the main reason for this Patreon page is just for the community aspect of it, to have a space with a group of people that we can have like an intimate space to chat in. You know, with the Facebook groups, a lot of these groups, because they are public, they just have exponential 15,000 plus people in them. If I had 15,000 people and I was making $1 a month, I'd quit my job at Disney and, call it a day. But I'm not expecting to have 15,000 people in this group. If we had 50 people in this group, it would be amazing. Having 2 people in this group, I love it. I'm grateful. These 2 guys have been in the show for a couple months, or in this group for a couple months, and it's awesome. One of my guys has been there for almost a year now, so it's pretty rad. I definitely appreciate everybody's support and love and feedback. Also, with this Patreon group, too, they have access to exclusive videos that are not anywhere else. They're tutorials that I'm doing just for this Patreon group. Also, talking about videos, my buddy John's been coming over on Thursday nights. We've been doing a lot of video work, getting the Wise Guy Institute videos up and running. So those, my 3 guys that have already paid my tuition, or their tuitions for the classes, they're going to have full access to this here very shortly. But also what I'm going to be doing is offering the video access to students that are in person taking a class. I have a couple of different courses that I do that are 6-week courses, and when you take this course with me in person, you also then have access to all the content that I have, except for the Patreon group, but in terms of the website, Wise Guy Institute, and all that good jazz. And I'll be getting into more talking about that, because coming up here over the summertime into 2020, a big part of my journey and venture is going to be traveling to studios, especially like my buddies out in Colorado for the Colorado Color Company, then their new studio space, and teaching these classes in person, and then offering these along with the class in person. You then have access to the online videos to continue the education, have access to me, etc. Something just I've been working on for years now, and it's exciting to see it finally come into fruition. So, there you go about that. And as you guys heard with our little spots for the Flow magazine and Mountain Glass, make sure you guys reaching out to them and supporting them as they sponsor the show. They're big helps in keeping the lights on. And the summer issue for the Flow magazine is coming out here soon, and it, I believe, is the last installment for my So You Want to Be a Glassblower series. It's been an honor having a editorial posted every quarter in this magazine, sharing the journey and the ideas and concepts of getting started as a glassblower, and just some different areas that I cover in there. And it's been an honor to have this as a part of my process and my journey. It's been pretty neat stuff. And so I'm gonna stop rambling. Just got done talking for 2 hours, and I'm sure you don't want to hear my voice rambling on. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. This is 213, I believe I said. I didn't write it down, but yeah, I think that's good. Nope, 214. So this episode 214, and again, Chelsy Joy, I'll have all her links in the show notes. She's an amazing woman and inspirational, and it was a fun chit-chat with her. Don't forget to go to our YouTube channel, Wise Guy Media, subscribe to that show, and also let me know what you think about it. I'm really curious to get feedback on it. It's been a lot of fun, and Patreon group to help support this show. And if you cannot afford the $1 a month or up to the $10 a month to be a part of our Patreon group, you can also, for free, help the show out by leaving a review on iTunes. This just helps the algorithms with iTunes. It also gives me a chance to get feedback from you as well. And it's just a way that you can help support the show. So if you can go to, if you're listening to this through Apple Podcasts, or other apps out there. I believe you can leave reviews on, but I know for sure for those that have iPhones, the Apple Podcast app, you can leave a review there, and we greatly appreciate it so much. And until next time, love you so much. Thanks again for tuning in. Episode 214, featuring Chelsy Joy. We'll talk to you on the next episode. Take care. Enjoy this episode. Love you. Peace. Hey, Chelsy, welcome to the show.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Glad to get you on here. For one, just kind of set the show off here. You are currently in an infrared sauna, which is interesting. So, for those that can't see you, they have no
I know,
idea.
it's
But
bad.
just imagine a sauna with some lighting.
Yes, a very nice and warm. It's 136 degrees and climbing, and the chromotherapy is changing from all the colors of the spectrum. So my body is benefiting from all the vibrations of the heat and the different colors. So
Yeah, that's wild. Well, I brought you on here initially a month and a half ago. I was talking on the show and just posting through social media about my lower back issues, and actually missed a couple days of work because of it, and just from overuse and over bad body mechanics and overworking it and not stretching properly and not resting like I should be. And then I was put in contact with you, and I fell in love with everything that you have going on in your end of things, and I wanted to make sure to bring you on here. And here it is, Mother's Day. And
oh, yay.
this,
I'm so glad to be here.
yeah, so thanks so much for coming on the show.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I love sharing about wellness ideas, healthy lifestyles, lifestyle management in a way that can help artists, the creative people become more creative. That is basically my passion.
Yeah, it's so important, especially, it's hard to be creative and focused when you're in pain,
That is exactly right. And that could be mental pain, physical pain. Man, that could be financial pain because, you're like pushing it and you're getting desperate. Desperation sets in, and that's when things really change.
Yeah, and that was one of my topics I did on one of my shows, was really like, because fortunately with my job, I have vacation time, so I was able to take a couple of days off, paid vacation basically, and the importance for an artist to be able to have like a small emergency fund put away so that they can afford to take the time off, because you're not going to get any better if you keep pushing yourself.
Right. That's exactly right. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I think I see so many people suffering from that every day. And one of the core pillars that I teach about 7 core pillars. And one of them is stress management. And just really learning how to communicate with yourself when it comes to stress and the people around you. So
Yeah, it's so important. Yeah, self-talk is huge. For sure. And I think, we talk a lot about as glass artists, that being on the torch is very therapeutic in a sense for the meditation aspect of things, but also because of, we're in our own little headspace, a lot of people use music or something of a distraction, but, when you can almost be in silence on the torch making your stuff, you can actually work through a lot of the things that go on in your head or in life. And, it's pretty amazing how it works out. Some breakthrough moments that you can actually have.
do you feel you're connecting with the flame when you're there? Can you see that flame turn into something and that you can connect with and just use that to transform you?
Yeah,
Your head, your mind space,
yeah, it's
the art piece.
I think it's the whole flow state aspect of it, because there's times where especially here at my job, I'm with people talking all the time, so it's really difficult to get into a good flow per se. But when I'm home, through the 20 years of doing this, there's times where I start and I get, my routine rolling and I get going, and then like 5 hours pass and I don't realize it's been 5 hours, nor do I even know where the hell I am. Like I come back from this space where like I've like left my body for 5 hours, and it's such a unique sensation and experience that we can have as artists. And I mean, anybody really that can get this flow state going. But that's where all the work is done, and is in that flow state, in a sense.
Absolutely. I have a glass blowing friend, and a glass blowing artist friend, and he mentions the same thing about just being gone. He'll be gone off the planet for like 6 hours and out of communication. And I'm just like, where did you go? He was like, comes back with this beautiful little footage of this piece he just created. I was like, wow, you went there, that's great. And when I'm in the sauna, and that's why when I get in this heat space, it's almost like I'm using this heat to mold my body in a way that I, as an wellness artist, a creative lifestyle artist, have used this wellness, this fire, the gas, the molecular hydrogen, just like you guys use glass, the glass artists, I mean, just like you use gas.
Yeah.
I use gas and water, molecular hydrogen, to assist me in reducing inflammation, reducing pain, having more energy. Just like if you turn up the gas, you have more energy inside of that
Yeah.
flame.
Yeah, so true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess kind of to back up a little bit, early on for your origins of this whole, this journey for yourself, like what was it initially that kind of sparked your initial kind of getting into this area?
I think I was born.
Hey, perfect.
My name is Chelsy Joy Velasco, and so C Joy was coined as I've always been utterly joyful in the good and the bad and the up and the down, and even if it's not been found at first, I've learned how to find the joy through everything. So C Joy Wellness is become my lifestyle, my passion, and your wellness is now my business.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find like the joyfulness in a sense has come from being grateful in a sense too?
Oh my gosh, yes, for sure. And those are things that I've learned from my mom. My mom was, and oh my gosh, what an amazing topic to talk about today.
Yeah.
On Mother's Day. I spent the whole day alone, and so now I'm getting to bring in that story of my mom, and this is great. Thanks.
Yeah.
My mom got really really sick with illnesses, tumors, brain tumors, cancer, breast cancer, tumors on her adrenal glands, her thyroid glands, up and down her whole spine, endocrine system. And over this 18 years that I just journeyed with my mom through it all. I come to find that in all of the grief, I turned it to joy. And so it's funny how, and there's so many opposites that I've discovered along this way, but I think it really is like the sadness. Everything is the opposite. The sadness I've turned to joy. The grief I've turned to joy. The pain I turned to joy, and I want to keep on going when I'm exercising on the whole body vibration machine, and it's on fire. My muscles are burning. I've perfected a 5-minute plank. Wow. On the whole body vibration machine.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it's because I find a joy in that, in just overcoming. Because of all the things that I have overcome in my life. So
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. I know for myself, glass is something that's taught me a lot of life lessons, and perseverance in overcoming things is one of them. It's definitely, I can appreciate that, and also being grateful too. I grew up with my mother. She taught me a lot of values and being compassionate, and she herself has also had every health issue under the sun. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that she has been smoking cigarettes since she was 13, and has tried anything and everything, including myself. I didn't talk to her for a whole year as like my way of saying, hey, I'm going to boycott you this year if you don't quit smoking.
Yeah, purging.
And she didn't give a shit, so here we are. She's still rolling around, but
That's
God bless
great.
her.
That's great. It's awesome what we learn from our parents when they can pass on these certain traits. My mom did. She taught me to be grateful in every instant through all her diseases. And through all her diseases, she always embodied that gratefulness for anything up until the very end. Through all of having a breast removed, all these tumors and cancers and ridiculousness, that I am so grateful that my mom, the martyr, was there to have allowed me the most comfortable, the most confident, the most just loving and compassionate platform of education, because it was because of everything that we walked together that I was able to then learn and turn this into my holistic health journey.
Yeah, it's amazing. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I lost 70 pounds in 2005. And that 70 pounds wasn't just pounds of fat. It was anxiety. It was depression. It was swollen breasts and horrible periods, and it was migraines, and it was moodiness, and it was back pain. And that 70 pounds was a lot of dysfunction in my life, um, a lot of pain. And shortly after that is when my fibromyalgia symptoms began and my wellness journey began. So,
Nice. Yeah,
yeah.
it's amazing. Like what you don't realize when you lose that kind of weight. Like I dropped like 35 pounds. Like we were talking pre-recording when I started my jump rope journey, and it was amazing how much better I felt. Between the fitness and but losing the weight. It's not the confidence side of things, but it's amazing. Like for guys especially, like they say, like your gut and your belly is like another organ in a sense if it's fat, and the amount of estrogen that it starts to produce, and it screws your whole hormone level up, and then which leads to more depression issues, which then leads to you eating more shit, and then it leads to more weight gain. It's like this vicious cycle you get into.
Right.
Not to mention when you're on your feet or sitting behind a torch all day long, that weight in your belly or wherever it's at is going to throw your back out of whack and give you terrible posture and body mechanics.
Right,
So,
and
yeah.
exactly, and all those things are what our life is included with, right?
Yeah.
And so learning how to live within those in a healthy way is just my favorite thing to guide people through. Um, when it comes to how you sit at the torch for countless hours, hunched over, and then wondering why tomorrow morning when you wake up, your neck is so tight and tense, and you can't barely twist your neck halfway sideways.
Yeah.
Um, Beginning to be more mindful and really think about what exactly you're doing to your body kind of helps you understand then when things start happening. Just like if you put too much heat something on your glass, something's gonna happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That you may not want to happen. So all these aspects of our life, the physical pain, the mental distress, and the anxiety and the depression, slowly getting all these things under control is such a huge feat because it's happening every day all around us. But I would recommend starting to journal somehow. Everybody has a different journal tactic, a different journal style. Um, there's really awesome journals out there that are included with the fitness, with the mental for meditation, stress reduction, with the food, the hydration, all the important tools.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's so important. I know, like, I keep I use my fitness app, Pal, or I think it's called, just for tracking my food, my diet, just to make sure I'm staying on track and getting enough calories and what I'm eating and not eating and blah, blah, blah. But, it got me in the habit of keeping a record every day. And I don't do it every single day like I would like to. However, it still has got me in the habit of still jotting something down, about my daily routines. And,
Yeah.
I know I downloaded, like, I think it's called the 5-Minute Journal, and there's an app that's out there. It's a free app, and they'll start off by asking you a question, and then that question kind of gets you to start writing, and it takes 5 minutes. Is all you need every day. Whether
Yeah, and that's great for digitally inclined people. That's
yeah.
amazing. Were you able to implement a new habit because of that, even if you used it intermittently?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, like and like especially it made me get up, and every day at a certain time, and the routine of just getting up and then jogging something down or getting my daily whatever food prep ready for the day, and then I was incorporating that into my app what I was using. So I don't write down things like I used to, but again, it's something I've been wanting to get myself back into doing again. Same with like meditation, like a daily meditation practice.
Yeah, some of my yeah, that was a really big step for me in my just overcoming pain, overcoming mental distresses and attachments that I had to my past that I was feeling in my present.
Yeah.
That was really big meditation, and it was hard for me because I grew up in a really Mennonite Christian home where we weren't allowed to do that because that was inviting in the spirits
Yeah, it was
is
the
what I
gateway to
was
to the
told
devil.
that meditation was.
Oh yeah, I grew up in a Roman Catholic type of situation. Like my mom would watch the 700 Club at like 2 a.m. for whatever reason, and then literally would wake me up like back when the whole Satan craze thing was going on. Like if Satan was in everything, and they were doing a whole thing on Kiss and Judas Priest and all that shit that was going on, and she'd like made me watch this stuff as a child, and it's amazing what you don't realize what affects you as an adult that you were influenced as a
Absolutely.
kid. I mean, my parents' divorce alone, I didn't realize how much it affected me until I was in my 30s. It's
Right.
kind of thing. So it's
Right, and that's when I realized that. I believe it was like 30 when I meditated for the first time, or maybe even a little bit older, 30, 31. And it's interesting because I honestly feel as if that's the first time that I was able to step outside of my body and see see things differently and feel my body differently in a way that helped me start reducing all of my pains, just like they were telling me through this guided meditation. I was
Mhm.
walking away from pain. I was walking into the light, and it was amazing. These were just they were non-spiritually directed meditations. They were all just directed at positive visualization, reducing this negative toxic load that's inside of our body, that's accumulating in our lower back because of a previous injury, that might be accumulating inside of our shoulders because we're not properly exhaling, or we're inhaling too much fire at the torch.
Right.
We could be injuring our body in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And so these meditations really help me step outside and see for the first time. I'm like, oh my God, this is why they didn't want me to do this.
Right.
Whoever they are, but because I'm seeing everything.
Yeah. I know, it's amazing, right? When you can have that clarity, it's incredible.
Absolutely.
So so you have these 7 core health and wellness pillars that you've I had talked about, and I think that was going to be like the core of our discussion today.
Yes.
And I know meditation is part of that too. So
Mhm.
I don't want to jump
Yeah.
around too much on you, and
I know we've certainly jumped around a little bit, but and it's okay. Well, let's see if we can bring it back.
yeah. So let's go back to I guess with the 7 core pillars that you have. You want to share those, and then we can start off with number 1, and we can work through all that.
Sure. So, and I wanted to try and tie each one into the glass artistry because I believe there's ties in them.
Hmm.
From the let's start with water. These core pillars that I've put together through my wellness program are just pillars that science has already discovered we as humans need. There's fire. We need that fire. Water. We need that water. Nutrition. We need shelter. These are basic human necessities. And so I've not like invented the wheel. I'm not reinventing the wheel or anything. I'm just helping to organize people into focusing on these 7 pillars.
Hmm.
Even if it takes a year, or let's pick one a month and make that the focal point of your month.
Yeah,
You
which
know?
is great because that's how a lot of people can accomplish things. Those little baby steps.
Absolutely. And so that's how we do it. When I start working with clients, we start implementing the 7 pillars. Sometimes we will jump around wherever the 7 begins with one person may not be where the 7 begins with another. But I live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and the area code here is 717. How convenient.
Yeah, right.
But it's it's 7 pillars, one new you in 7 months. And so we focus on water, and we should focus on hydration, detoxification, exercise, nutrition, cellular renewal, stress management, and relationship, communication, community. So those are 7 things that once you can find your optimal space in that hydration, then you're going to be feeling a lot more fulfilled, a lot more full and flowing with energy to keep going to the next one.
Oh yeah, it's
So
so important.
yeah, when so many people are drinking the wrong kind of water, and they're like, "What do you mean the wrong kind of water?
Yeah.
How do you drink the wrong kind of water?" Um, there's a study that was released 2014. It was 19, and you may have heard of it. A lot of people have talked about it. This agency studied 19 different water bottles, and they were amazing water. They were like name brand waters that were from the Arctic or from the glaciers, um, Fiji water. You know, all these great waters, and yeah, the water was a great source to begin with. But what happened once they put it into the plastic?
Yeah.
Oh, it took on 24,500 chemicals. And so that 24,500 chemicals has now become part of your water. So every time you take a sip, you're filling your body with these chemicals that now your beautiful, bold, strong, sexy, once jovial body is now becoming just heavy and tight and sore. And you're not really understanding why, because you think you're doing everything right. You think you're juicing and you're eating a lot of protein, how you did the paleo diet, and that all works for everybody. But why are you feeling headaches, or why are you feeling back pain still, or lethargic, missing energy? And most often people are dehydrated, even if they're drinking. I don't know. Let's say some guy said, I drink 12 water bottles a day. What kind of water bottles, my friend? He says, Deer Park. I was like, bring that Deer Park over to my house. Let me test it for you. So he did. He brought it over. I did all these the pH test. I tested it for molecular hydrogen, and it failed miserably on all ends. And he finally understands that when you're drinking the water that's contaminated with this 24,500 chemicals, when you're putting in your body, as soon as your body sees that, it is blocking the aquaporins, which is your body's ability to absorb the water. All of these chemicals, which are estrogen inhibitors, which are they just make all of our chemical and neurological systems go crazy, starting in our stomach, then going to our brain. And it's happening because of these chemicals are going in and creating chemical disruption. So
Yeah, I know what you mean, because it's amazing. Like, I've been listening to a lot of shows, like nutrition and health shows, and a lot of the like gut biome is being discussed right now, and how that's where everything starts. It's like our building blocks in a sense for our life is in our gut, and the bacteria and the good bacteria, and blah blah blah. But they talked about the waters and the different type, and a couple different shows had different people talking about different things. But you have like reverse osmosis water, you have filtered water, and whatever processed waters. And the guy was saying, like, the best kind of water you can do is just go to like a local spring, so you can get all the minerals that are coming out of whatever it's come, the water source.
absolutely, absolutely.
Because everything's so
Yeah.
deprived and just stripped. Like reverse osmosis is just stripping the water completely of everything, so you're just drinking clear liquid. But like my roommate,
And that is eventually going to then rob your body of your bone,
right? Exactly.
of the minerals that you have readily available. And this leads to problems. This leads to aches, pains, people wondering, why do I have like restless leg syndrome, or why do I have headaches, or why do I have why am I having osteoporosis, or these things happen because of, if you're drinking this reverse osmosis water, you're depleting your body.
Yeah.
It's funny that you bring up the microflora, because um here's a study that was done, that says here, this is what it says: selective stimulation of the growth of anaerobic microflora in the human intestinal tract by electrolyzed reducing water. So basically, the electrolyzed water is this Echo H2 water that I drink. And if you go on my Facebook and you go on my website, you'll be able to like see all about it. So many elite and just so many elite people have been drinking this water forever. The molecular hydrogen water. The Truth About Cancer talks about it as the water to drink if you really want to live within the cancer-free lifestyle. So this microflora study goes on to say that 99% of the friendly microflora of the intestinal tract of human consists of strict anaerobes, and only 1 to 4% of aerobes. Many diseases of the intestine are due to a disturbance in the balance of these microorganisms inhibiting the gut. We're talking irritable bowel syndrome, diverticulitis, diverticulosis. We're talking Crohn's disease. um colon cancer, right? And so then this study goes on to talk about what they did, and the discovery was electrolyzed reducing water with values between 0 and negative 300 produced in electrolysis devices um, possesses this property, this reductive agent that is helping to combat these diseases. So, evidence is presented in favor of the hypothesis that the primary target for electrolytes reducing water is the residential microflora in the gut, and the echo molecular hydrogen water machine is able to produce that. So that is the water I drink, and that is a total nerdy science view. I love reading science daily. I'm such a nerd. But that's one of the reasons I drink this water, because it helps to um, improve my micro gut flora. I have horrible irritable bowel syndrome. I can go from one day being a sexy size 4 to a 8-month pregnant woman having horrible bowel cycles. And it's just because I've decided to eat something that doesn't agree with my body, which is the next step pillar, nutrition. But when I have these flare ups, these irritable bowel flare ups, these pain, gas, oh my God, it's so horrible. It feels like I want to explode inside of my whole stomach, my intestines. I run downstairs, fill up a big glass of Echo hydrogen rich electrolyzed water, and start therapeuting myself. And so having these tools readily available in your house is what I do. Is part of the wellness journey that I walk with my people through the 7 pillars. So
Yeah, it's interesting you bringing that water up. I don't have that particular brand, but my roommate, well, my ex-roommate, was getting a subscription for this water through Amazon. The brand's called Essentia. Hashtag not sponsor in the show here, but it's that their tagline is overachieving H2O, and it's a ionization partly charged water, and it's interesting. It says basically our proprietary process turns water from any source into supercharged ionized. Oh my God, if I can say that word.
Yeah, ionized is right.
Alkaline water. It's even too pure to be tested on pH strips, but it's got like a 9.5 pH or higher, and it's has electrolytes in it also. So it's great for just being hydrated and stuff.
I bought my alkaline water machine about 4.5 years ago, but I wish now that I had just a molecular hydrogen machine. Alkaline water, it's almost like a thing. Everybody's like, oh my God, everybody get alkaline water. It was a rage, but there's a lot to learn about it though, because we don't want to constantly be drinking alkaline water into our acidic stomach environment, which can create long-term just kind of stress effects. That's what one of the reasons that we're in pain, one of the reasons that we experience depression or anxiety, is because of these stress effects that occur within our body at all these different levels.
Yeah, totally.
Levels that we don't think about every day, like the water, like the way we sit, like how much we're pooping, or how much, or what we're eating, or even how, like you said earlier, self-talk, what we're hearing, what we're seeing. These all go into this how your body feels. Absolutely. And Synergy Science, the company with the water machine that I have, oh my gosh, they have perfected the molecular hydrogen process. See, molecular hydrogen is gas. It's something that everybody's healthy gut naturally produces. We're producing and we're about 2.5 to 5 liters a day. To 15 liters a day. But what happens is, in a very unhealthy intestinal tract, a really unhealthy gut, you're only producing about 2.4. And this molecular hydrogen is an antioxidant. It reduces inflammation. It's a free radical. So it's taken out these. I mean, it's a selective antioxidant taking out these free radicals. And these free radicals are just cell damaging radicals that are inside your body that are killing your cells, that are creating blockages, that are creating disruptions between your brain and your your body, so you feel brain fog. Um, and so molecular hydrogen comes in as this superhero, and because it's one on the periodic table of elements, it's coming in like this awesome kamikaze agent, and it's donating its one, and it's turning two cytotoxic cells, two free radicals into water molecules. And that's what's so powerful about the synergy science of molecular hydrogen water is it's it's not really messing with your alkalinity in your body as much, because you should be able to, with proper nutrition and proper detoxification, we should be able to reach a naturally balanced alkalinity in our body. So sometimes drinking alkaline water can be an excess of
Yeah,
stress.
yeah.
And
Makes
yeah.
sense.
I challenge you to go look at some more of these studies on molecular hydrogen. There's over 800 of them now. A lot of them touch on colon cancer and how it stops the apoptosis of cancer, how it stops the spread of cancer. So that's why it's being touted as the truth about cancer is number one water to drink. So
Heck yeah.
yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, and I preach a lot about too. Like I've heard, talking about like getting your day started off with like a glass of some warm water with a little pinch of like Himalayan sea salt and some lemon, to kind of helps your cells kind of open up in a sense and become receptive to hydration throughout the day. It also helps to kind of balance in a sense, like the alkaline and acidic value in your blood, and kind of get yourself ready for the day, and especially with artists, the glass artists especially, that deal with the heat and summertime and all the sweating that we're doing, and you're not getting enough salt in your system, and it's amazing how
Absolutely.
shitty you feel, just from purging all that sweat, and then drinking a lot of water. But if you're not adding salt to your diet throughout the day,
Absolutely. I've been drinking the Soleil salt water every morning, which is the minerals in my water. It's called Soleil. I've been drinking that since I started my wellness journey in 2004, 2005. And I've only missed a couple days since then, because it is such an important part of our body. I get my blood work done every couple of years with my doctor, and my mineral levels are always super fantastic. And between nutrition, which is green vegetables, a lot of raw green vegetables, and juicing them, and taking the Soleil every morning, yeah, that's really what your body needs to start getting started onto this feel good journey.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I used to do lemon every morning, but then I got the Echo water machine, and I'm like, well, I want to drink water anyway. So I stopped drinking the lemon water every morning about 4 years ago when I got my Echo water machine.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, so let's talk about the sauna real quick, because
Yeah,
the fire, the chromotherapy, you guys use color all the time. My friend Markovich Glass, he's been using silver and gold flakes
yep.
inside of his glass blowing, and it has been leaving the most cute and iridescent colors ever. It's pretty cool. Um, and colors can elicit such amazing responses in people.
Hmm.
I'm sure you've had some experience with colors yourself. I know in the sauna, when I'm in here in the I wish you could see me. Oh my goodness, it's changing. This chromolite therapy is changing from red to blue to green to turquoise to purple to yellow. And every one of those colors are helping my body in one way or another. From the green is my favorite. I think the green is the one I use the most, because green is the cooling and sedating color, which helps and reduce the swelling within the joints and within the tissues. It helps to calm any inflammation that exists, and probably sitting in glass blowing position, you might have a lot of inflammation where in your lower back and neck, maybe more often.
Yeah, for me personally, it's mostly like shoulders and lower back.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah, the green color is my favorite, just because it helps to reduce the inflammation, and this is all because of the way that the vibrations are coming out of the lights, and they're tapping into your body at different levels.
Right.
Just like the far infrared heat of the sun. It's a good heat. This far infrared sauna that I'm sitting in, it's going 1.5 inches deep inside my body cells. And unlike the gym saunas, like you can go to the sauna at the gym. Some people are like, oh, I use that gym sauna all the time. It goes, the steam or the stones, and that's fantastic. That is so good at like cleansing your skin because so many people have like skin acne nowadays. So we have to just make sure that we are cleansing the skin with salt scrubs and minerals. But the gym saunas are just really helping you from the skin surface, just slightly going inwards, whereas the far infrared saunas are going about 1.5 inches deep and penetrating into your body cells, turning on the ignition inside of all of the cells deep down inside your body. I think I've had a bunch of near-death experiences that have brought me into the sauna, and I've come out a joyful being once again. So nothing, a little hydration, sweat, meditation, and stress management, and fire and chromotherapy can do for you. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's what I find fascinating too. It's like, as technology grows and we're finding how technology is great for us, but also affects us negatively. And this whole blue light issue that we're having with laptops and cell phones and TVs, and now they have these blue light reducers or glasses you can wear, because like naturally our body receptors, hormonally wise, react to certain light spectrum, and the blue light causes our hormone and cortisol levels to act like the sun is still up. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning, but your body still thinks that it's you should be up and being awake because of this blue light that you're getting. And there's when I've heard in the research I've done, and it's amazing how just reducing the blue light out of your life at a certain time of day can help your body then go into a relaxation mode to start to wind down for the day, to help your hormones change, to then get you ready for bed.
Absolutely.
And they wouldn't have really known this
Color.
except for with the technology that we have, our quote unquote smart technology, So it makes sense what
Absolutely.
you're saying with the color spectrum stuff.
Yeah, color is light. Color is light and energy. Color is so energy. And just because there's the variety of the colors that they all tap into different proximities inside of your body, or the matter that exists around it, and that's what changes the color of the things that we see.
Yeah.
And all of these different wavelengths that the colors are traveling at, like you said, the blue, it actually been used in treating sleep disorders and people with headaches, and I used it at one point to help me get rid of a sinus infection that hadn't been going away for 3 weeks. And because for some reason, blue has a way of tapping in and just eliciting this antibacterial effect inside of our cells. So yeah, color therapy it's a type of holistic healing, and it's been used since, going back to like ancient Egyptian days when they used to have like the solarium rooms. They
Right.
put glass out, and then depending on the time of the day the sun would shine through, they would sit in there and receive the benefits of these different colors of the solar panels that they would put out. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's been, people hear this kind of stuff and they think it's kind of like woo-woo hippie kind of stuff, but science has proven that this shit's actually is real, in terms of spectrum,
Absolutely.
light spectrums and how it affects us.
Yeah, colors are known to have an effect on people with brain disorders or
Yeah.
people with emotional troubles.
Yeah.
It's absolutely. I remember being a child and realizing that, wow, all these doctors' offices and dentist offices, and even up until this day, they're usually always blue or green, because blue or green is calming, which
Yeah.
is why I use them a lot for my inflammation, living with fibromyalgia and using all these my wellness pillars that I do to live joyfully with fibromyalgia. I really just come to incorporate all of these, and especially blue and green, because they're so good at calming. But red, if red has been known to be a circulation stimulant, so it helps with enthusiasm, generate enthusiasm. It's the color of love. I've treated couples to come inside the sauna together to do a couples therapy session together and put red on with some beautiful relaxing music where they can just feel the power of love. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. I know. I think it was 10 years ago now. I went and saw a chiropractor. I didn't go for the adjustment. They had a free get your back X-rayed kind of deal, type of thing.
Yeah.
And they also had a light therapy for precarpal tunnel issues. So I tried it out, and I was going for probably about 6 weeks, and I really noticed a difference in the inflammation in my wrists I was dealing with at the time, just from like tendonitis and stuff, just from this red light therapy. And I don't think it was placebo. I think it was like, it was actually doing something beneficial for me.
Absolutely, man. Given those unique frequencies that you put on different parts of the body, whatever you were specifying that for, people believe, and I believe,
Yeah.
that certain colors entering the body can activate hormones and generate these chemical reactions inside of you that help influence your body's ability to heal. And that's what I've done to myself.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Um, yeah, and so farm bread sauna, the heat, the fire, the flame, you guys know what I'm talking about. On your torch, the heat, the fire, the flame. It's a really important part of your artistic process, as it is inside of your body process. A very important part of your body's artistic wellness journey. So
Yeah.
I challenge you to think about where you're getting, where are you challenging your body to sweat more, to clean out whatever you filled it with. Because dang it, you've probably filled your body over the course of your lifetime with so much shit. It's ridiculous. Think about it.
Yeah. Well, even like, as glass artists, we're exposed to a lot of toxins and stuff. Not to mention like the UV issues that we deal with coming from the glass and the brightness and what's going on. Like we have to wear special glasses and sunscreen and stuff potentially to keep the UV from fucking with us or having a shield up. That stuff all affects us internally wise. So or like the silver and gold fuming as well. It's like the gold fuming, if you don't have good ventilation, can screw up your neurological systems and. There's a lot of issues. Like,
wow, see, there you go. And those are things that we need to detox out of our body. Here. This is something that happened to my dad. This was the fall of last year. He was wrapping up his painting. He's a home remodeler. He had just completed a project where he was removing lead paint from the front porch of somebody's home. And not sure why, but he said he got to talking. He took his mask off and put it down under his chin and then stopped talking and started working again and never put that mask back on again. Hours later, one of his buddies come around and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm almost done here." He's like, "No, why are you without your mask?" Do you know that my dad fell so ill? He was heavy. Think about what lead is. Lead is one of the heaviest of the elements, very heavy. So his body felt heavy. His arms felt so heavy. His legs, he says he can just walk like sluggishly and just like his head felt so foggy. And I was like, get in the sauna, buddy. Got in the farm fruit sauna, drank so much water, gave him some healthy vitamins, made him sweated, had turned it all the way up to 150, made him stay in there for 45 minutes, put him in this ionic foot detox machine, which helps your body's detoxability through this ionic foot bath with some salt. And his water came out so black, you can see all of the flakes, almost like these almost like the silver and the silver and gold flakes that my friend uses. Like, it's crazy. These black flakes were all inside of his foot bath water. Of course, he woke up the next day and he was fine and dandy. But holy crapola, all of that lead just toxicity that his body was dealing with, and he didn't even think about it.
Yeah, that kind of exposure is terrible.
Horrible exposure. So how are you detoxing? And that's another one of the 7 pillars. How are you detoxing? Your body naturally breathes. That's a detox. And sweats, and that's a detox. And pees, that's also a detox. And it poops, and that's my favorite detox. And we have our menstrual cycle. That's a cleansing and health. So is ejaculating. All this is our bodies is tearing, right? Are there any more? Now, these are our body's ability and our body's necessity to clear the toxicity out that we're getting from breathing, from eating, from drinking, from burning at the pipe, at the, that too, from burning at the torch.
That too.
From, all this toxicity, what are you doing to help it? So being inside the farm for sauna and all the other benefits that we were just talking about, but it's really helping your body sweat out and get out. Oh God, I've opened this sauna door on some people, and the smell has permeated, and it's just like, oh my God, what is in your body? Like, leave. I need an exorcism in here. And it's true that this person has been on a series of pharmaceutical medications for at least 12 years. So their body is full of that chemical toxicity.
Yeah.
And you have to be processing it out, otherwise it's going to be getting stored in your fat cells. And well, then we start storing estrogen, and then we start getting man boobs, then we start getting like girly hips, and then we start getting this big belly, and all this estrogen is being stored, and it's creating further imbalances, creating depression, creating just psychological pain and distress. So yeah, detoxing is a really big one. So,
Yeah, I agree.
what do you do for detoxing? Because I do all sorts of crazy shit to detox my body.
Well, first and foremost, sweating is probably my major one that I like to do. And I even have people I work all the time like, aren't you hot? Don't you like, hate the heat? Besides growing up in Florida my entire life and the humidity of the swamp here, I love to sweat. It just is part of my thing. And and the sweating for me, the more exercise I do, the more my metabolism revs up, the quicker I start sweating. As we start to get our self fit in a sense, and our internal side of our body fit too. And it's amazing like how good I feel after just a good session in my studio, working my ass off all day and sweating my brains out and staying hydrated on top of that as well. But
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
secondaries, I do juice a lot, not as much as I'd like to lately, but even like when I was having my lower back issues, I immediately went on Pinterest and was looking up some different anti-inflammatory juices, and a lot of it was like which pineapple, I had no idea. I love pineapple, so like you're saying, like fresh pineapple
Yes.
juice and things like that. So like I do like a lot of beet juice or celery, just different types of things I like to experiment with here and there.
Absolutely. And here's an easy one and it's great for detoxing. It's great for your lymphatic system. And it's not very expensive. You could probably find this brush on Amazon for like $6 right now. And it's called a dry skin body brush. And that's going to really help move toxic chemicals that your body needs to process out through the lymphatic system. It's going to help reduce cellulite. It's just going to help with like moving fluids through your lymphatic system and helping your fascia. Oh my gosh, your fascia.
Yeah.
That's a big one. And fascia is a word that a lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people don't know what fascia is, but guess what? Fascia was the very first cell that you were ever that ever was was a fascia cell. And your whole body is fascia. And you might have heard like myofascial release is a good technique. But I use these fascia blasters, which I got from Ashley Black Guru, and you can look her up. She's awesome. And ever since I've been blasting my fascia, I have my fibromyalgia has gone down. I'd say if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd say like 43%.
Nice.
And I've got my friend Markovich Glass, who's this glass blower. I've got him fascia blasting. He's even making his own fascia blasters now to help fascia blast his pain away from his hip surgery pain. So
Yeah. Yeah,
fascia
'cause
blasting is important.
like and another one thinking about this too is deep tissue massage, and like I'll go get it an hour long deep tissue and then drink a ton of water but also juice with it. And usually like those days, typically I get a massage on a Sunday, so like those are usually my fasting days. I also do intermittent fasting every day, so that's kind of part of my
Okay,
daily
good for
routine,
you. Absolutely.
and for those that don't know what intermittent fasting is, I basically in a 24-hour day I'm eating my food within an 8-hour window, and so I'm fasting for 16, eating for 8. And it just
That's
depends on your
fabulous.
routine. Like I usually have my first meal around 4:30 in the afternoon. Like I go all day without eating. I'll have sometimes around like 2 o'clock or so. I'll have like a couple hard-boiled eggs, but I have a cup of coffee in the morning or 2 cups of coffee, or sometimes 3 or 4, depending on
Yeah,
on my
right?
day. you know, but usually a couple hard-boiled eggs around noon or 2 o'clock, and then like when I started my fitness journey, to help myself curb my dealing with having hunger pains, which is really just kind of a bullshit psychological thing we deal with. I mean, don't get me wrong, hungry is hungry, but it's a different thing. But I would do push-ups and drink a glass of water, and I'd be in
Yeah.
like full uniform at work, and I would stop and go in the back break room and do like 20 push-ups just to help my brain kind of reset itself and ignore the
Yeah, that's
being
great.
hungry. But
Pattern interrupt. Absolutely.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I find like the deep tissue massage is a good way to get your full body stimulated, to get knots and things moved around, and then you got to flush all that shit out. So I do a juice detox, and then just drink a bunch of water and just make sure that I'm peeing all day. And I know talking about hydration, if you're working all day and you're not peeing, it means that you're sweating too much and that you're not hydrating and refilling your body in a sense.
Absolutely.
So you got to pay. That's such a big deal to be mindful about. And I noticed that there's
It
days where I'm
is.
like, holy shit, I only peed like twice today. And I realized I've been sweating my ass off, but I'm also not drinking enough fluids. I'm not drinking the right fluid on top of it.
Right. Yeah, because there is a really big difference. Go on my website if you want. Go to synergyscience.com or go to c-joy.com. That's mine, c-joy. And there is amazing, amazing videos, really interactive, really fun, really sciencey and nerdy if you want to go there even,
Yeah, I love
about water, about why you want to be drinking the right water. I mean, after all, your body is supposed to be like 50 to 75% water. And I damn, I used to have so much pain, man. I can just imagine how my life used to be, and I am so grateful going back there. I'm just so grateful at every moment for everything that I've come out of, because I can remember the pain. I can remember. It's not right. But yeah, so
Yeah, it sucks.
it's still all these tools that have, all these tools, all these weird things, even the pooping, you said making sure that you're going to the bathroom, making sure you're peeing and that you're pooping. I've in the past to do a colon cleanse just to help clean my colon out from, I had severe constipation years ago before I started really juicing and cleansing my body out. Magnesium is a great bowel stimulant, and it's a great way to help your body to just clean out excess rubbish that could be hiding within the lining of your colon, almost like a vacuum cleaner hose.
Yeah.
And when that shit gets stuck inside that vacuum cleaner hose and that film builds around it, and then polyps are going to start forming, and then you start having these weird conversations because the doctor saw something during the colonoscopy, and then you start getting worried, and really it's just a whole bunch of built up toxic farts and shit that's stuck inside your colon, that if you did a really good, nice, soft, but real good colon cleanse. Oh man, come on. Be consistent. Be determined. Do it. You're gonna feel so much better.
Oh, it's amazing. Like if I eat, like go hit the fast food some nights on the way home, I feel like shit. Not to mention how constipated I get, and I know it's because of this shit I just ate. And it's like going back thinking, talking about like colon buildup, like you hear about like supposedly like Elvis Presley, like when they did his autopsy, they found like 90 pounds of shit in his colon.
Horrible.
It's like that's a lot of fucking weight you're carrying around, a lot of shit you're carrying
It
around.
is.
And then all the toxins.
Buy yourself on Amazon again. I'm not even getting paid by Amazon, damn it. Go get yourself a bottle of Mag 07, MAG 07, and that it's an oxygenating, like scrubbing bubbles. It's like the scrubbing toilet bubbles. This is the scrubbing bubbles for inside your colon. It is going to get you super, super dope-tastic, cleaned out from the inside out. It's amazing. And yeah, I had a guy who he was addicted to these things because he lost like 34 pounds in 1 month. And he's like, I'm shitting all day long and I love it. But he wasn't. He was going about 3 times in the morning and once again in the evening. And so you have to just plan for that, plan that 3 times in the morning. But it's so awesome.
Yeah.
When you start getting rid of all that toxic shit, because man, that's stopping your brain from getting full communication.
Yeah.
That's stopping your cells from getting full nutrition ability. It's actually covering your body's ability it's blocking your body's ability to absorb nutrients if you have all this toxic built up inside of your colon. So it is really, really important to do that detoxing and find what's right for you. God, since 2004 4 or 5 when I started this, I've done so many different awesome things. And natural wellness is my thing. I'm not into like these fly by the night companies that introduce some cool thing that's going to be faddish. I really do try and get all of my information from the divine and try and make it as connected to our, natural resources as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty,
Yeah,
it's pretty important, I think, if
yeah, I
you want
agree.
your body to work as naturally as possible.
Yeah, because all this information is, I mean, like one day they say, having 5 cups of coffee a day is the best thing you can do, and then the next day they say, oh, it's terrible for you, blah blah blah. I think everybody's different. Whatever works for you, you just got to kind of experiment and figure this shit out, and like you're saying, avoid the fad, overnight workout, lose 40
Yeah,
pounds in one day bullshit, because it's all it is.
yeah,
It's just
man.
snake oil salesman bullshit.
Yeah, I've been living this way since 2005. People see me, they're like, it's amazing. You haven't fallen off the wagon. There's no yo-yo. I was like, you know why? Because everything that I've picked up, I have held. I've put in my tool belt, and
Yep.
I've gotten another wellness tool, and I've put that in my tool belt, and now I've got the biggest, baddest tool belt, and that I'm using to construct my badass life and badass body, baby. Because I just turned 42 on whatever day of the week that was last week, Tuesday. And inside of my body cells, my cellular body age is 28. Now, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
When I was 24 and I first started this wellness journey back in 2004ish, I was told by the women at the wellness center, using the same type of scale, because I ended up getting one years later when I opened my wellness center. I was told back then, when I was 24, that my body's cellular age was 46.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, I feel 64. And I'm only 46, but I'm only 24. What the hell's going on? I feel so old. I was having anxiety attacks, going to the hospital with panic attacks, 70 pounds overweight, had back pain, you know, a shoulder pain, low back pain, horrible marriage, just ridiculous life. Fuck. Life was so painful. And then we're just adding to these awesome tools that we have discovered over our wellness journey, and we've not put them down and walked away from them. We've kept them and we've added to them. And that's what I just want to challenge everybody to do, is find that diet that's right for you. My favorite is eat right for your blood type. And we'll talk about that in a sec. But
Yeah.
find the diet that's right for you. Find the exercise regimen that's right for you. And the detoxing, if you like castor oil packs, which I love castor oil packs. That's a liver cleanse, by the way. It really helps to detox your liver if you've ever taken pharmaceutical medications or done hard drugs, or if you've ever done any hormone replacement therapy, or if you're overweight, have a big belly, and you're just dealing with like a big gut. I suggest you Google or go on my YouTube page, castor oil packs for your liver. Oh dear God, that's amazing. Um, and so, but the nutrition, that is unfortunately probably next to hydration, one of the reasons why everybody's living in pain,
Mm-hmm.
why nobody feels good, why everybody is obese, like do diabetes, all this craziness. Um, and it's hard not to jump on the fad bandwagon when there's so many people finding success in this and that. But that's why I go back to journaling. Honestly, it comes down to what makes you have that gas attack that you had when you ate that big meal that one night. It comes down to what makes you have a migraine or what makes you have diarrhea. So start tracking your symptoms. Because man, don't you want your body to be like as awesome as your glass work?
Yeah, exactly, and that's funny you say that, because I did an episode. I talked about that. Like, if we put the amount of energy and happiness and love into our life, into our bodies that we do into our artwork, we'd be a fucking well-oiled machine. But we don't. It's like
Oh
we
my
focus all
God.
this energy into our artwork, and then everything else is like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna go drink some beers and go hang out and whatever, which is not a bad thing to do because I do that myself. However, moderation.
Yeah.
But it's just so much out there. I mean, on the whole beer thing, like I have allergies to certain things out there, and I have found
Yeah,
like
me
certain
too.
IPAs I drink, I immediately get congested, and I've had to experiment to find what types of beers I can and can't drink, because I know that this
There you
type of beer
go.
over here is going to give me terrible skin conditions and make me
Yes.
sneeze my head off and get congested.
Yeah.
It's so it's odd, but I've had to learn how to experiment, and It's like you're saying, it's
Absolutely.
so important.
It is. And please, please, please experiment. It's your body, it's your life. You are able and allowed to make a choice on what makes you feel good and decide to do it or not. And I suggest you make yourself feel better. Your body's gonna love you better. But I am not able. I can't drink beers. Oh my gosh, I will bloat up and just be burping and full of gas. Now I can drink the ciders. They don't do that to me.
Hmm.
The gluten-free ciders,
Right.
right? So I
Yeah.
believe it has something to do with the wheat.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because like I'm like
Yeah.
my the women in my family all have gluten issues or gut issues of some sort, IBS,
Yeah.
what have you, along with the whole fibromyalgia and stuff. And talking to my sister before you and I came on, and she's like, I know a lot of my issues has to do with associated with my diet. And it's that's that whole
Yeah.
it's not what you eat, it's what you eats. It's you gotta
Yeah.
pay attention to that. The fish and the
Absolutely.
meat that you're eating. Is it corn fed or grass fed? It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I'm going in to meet my doctor tomorrow because I had my annual blood test done. My mom had all these horrible stress diseases. Her diagnosis was always stress diseases. I mean, she died the most wretched, disgusting way, but they were all stress diagnoses. So I've come to perfect the stress management in my life because after all, I am genetically following in the same footsteps as my mom. The
Right.
way I look, the way I act, the way I'm so awesome like her, but also the same freaking illnesses like her that I've been able to track because I so intimately walk them with her. And I love having conversations with my doctor because he wants me to go on medication, pain medication for fibromyalgia, because every 3 months, I will eat a donut and have an ice cream sundae and a piece of cake at that freaking party, man. I can't just have one. I had to have all three. And you know what? My fibro acts up the next day, and at least for as long as it takes for at least for like 3 days, 4 days, as long as it takes me to get myself fully out of it, which is a lot better than 5 years ago. It was 3 weeks. It
Right.
took me 3 weeks to get out of a fibro attack while I was on 17 different pills.
Yeah, it's crazy. And my grandmother's always like, if I didn't have that damn cookie, and she's like, she always tells me when she's going into the situation at the time, it seems like it's worth it, but then when actually you're experiencing the after effects of it, you realize that cookie was not worth having.
And know it. So then know that. And that's why I love journaling again. Because I have people write down how they're feeling when they eat, how they're feeling mentally at the end of the night, how they're feeling emotionally. Because seriously, all of this plays into you being an awesome body, awesome life, having an awesome life. And you don't have to do these things forever. Like in 2004, when I started losing my weight, and by 2005, I had lost the 70 pounds. I had started Eat Right for Your Blood Type, and I eliminated red meat from my diet. I eliminated bananas, potatoes, tomatoes, mangoes, papayas. I eliminated peppers, red peppers, green peppers, and it's because these things have been shown to because I'm blood type A positive. These certain foods have been known to create these lectins inside of my body that are going to create inflammation.
Hmm.
And when I eliminate these foods from my body, all of a sudden the inflammation starts going down. And I don't know what happened, but I lost 70 pounds, and my sister lost 165 pounds.
Wow, holy shit.
Eat right for your blood type. And all we were doing was at that time was just walking, and we eliminated these foods from our diet because they were creating inflammation inside of our digestive system,
Yeah.
which was then creating havoc all along the way. Now, here, on Friday night, I had chicken wings. I love hot wings from the right place. So I still live. I mean, I'm still freaking human, and I'm still like wanting to live a good life, right? So I'm not a vegetarian or vegan, but I'm very selective. So Friday night was homemade French fries because I make really good homemade French fries, and chicken wing night with broccoli. You gotta get that broccoli in
Oh
there,
yeah.
people. But the potatoes are organic and everything is everything's nice and stuff. But I
it's on a side note, how do you do your fries?
I cut them up really thin. I put them on my large iron skillet. I put some coconut oil, olive oil, and then I'll put some nutritional yeast on them with some sea salt. I'll chop up some onions, sliced very thinly, and some garlic,
Hmm.
and put them on the iron skillet, and then I'll just bake, and I'll bake them in there for like 45 minutes, and
Nice.
then just toss them and probably like re-season them, and I put some cayenne pepper on them then to make them spicy because I like them like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'll throw some feta cheese on them after they come out of the oven
Mm.
sometimes.
Nice. I have to
So,
try. I have to try the feta cheese. I've never done it before.
yeah, yeah. There's
Sounds
a
good.
Greek place in town started that. I kind of
Huh.
love it. So,
The reason I'm asking is
but
because air fryers right now are kind of a thing, and I've been wanting to look into getting an air fryer for myself just to because I like fries.
yeah, my dad was just talking about that the other day actually. But yeah, I just bake them in the oven at like 430, 420, probably 420. Um, and just bake them for like 40 minutes.
Cool.
And so I don't know how long the air fryer will take, but
Yeah, I don't either. So, anyways,
um,
not to get off topic here, but yeah,
but I could, but I'm not supposed to eat potatoes.
yeah,
Because that was the one thing, that was one of the potatoes, one of the things I had to eliminate when I wanted to lose my weight. And so now I have, because I have tracked my body, because I have tracked my pain and through my nutrition and journaling, I know that I'm able to. I'm able to put these things into my diet now because I've eliminated for so long and I've corrected my body's imbalances that I'm able to then, as I see fit, safely put them in like that cookie, or like the French fries one night. But no, I can't do it all the time because on my 10-year anniversary of Eat Right for Your Blood Type and my 70-pound weight loss, I decided I was going to stop Eat Right for Your Blood Type, and I was going to just go back to eating bananas, potatoes all the time, tomatoes all the time. I was going to go back to eating red meat again, and I was just going to not eat junk food, but I was just going to add these foods that create inflammation in my body back into my body, back into my diet for 6 months. And I was just going to let it happen and see what happened because I do all these self-experiments all the time, right?
yep.
6 months, 25 pounds, man.
Wow.
At the end of the 6 months, I started eliminating those foods from my diet again. So I went back on Eat Right for My Blood Type, and within 6 weeks, the 25 pounds were gone. So
Yeah, amazing.
it is amazing. Inflammation it really is a killer inside of our body, and I'm okay not eating a banana. And I'm okay not eating an orange, and I'm okay not eating tomato all the time. I eat so many other foods that don't create inflammation inside my body. And I got there knowing by journaling and by really paying attention to my body. Just like you pay attention to the glass piece. If it's cracked, you want to fix it. If it's top heavy, you got to make sure it's not top heavy because then it's going to fall over and break, right? So just being so mindful with our artistic body and everything that we do is an important, I think, first step is really wanting to be mindful with your life and your body again. And then, taking these health steps, these health pillars, and starting to add them to your tool belt, just like you added to your all of your collection of glass blowing tools.
Yeah.
Your life is your life, and damn it, if you want to live well, you just have to start implementing certain things into your life so that the comforts are there and readily available, just like having an air compressor readily available inside your workspace. It makes a big difference when you have a sauna inside of your living room. It makes a big difference when you have molecular hydrogen water machine inside of your kitchen. And, just like having the torch and the air compressor, these things matter if you want your glass blowing journey to be a well one. And just like the body.
Yeah, I agree, and education is a huge part of it too, which is why I wanted to bring you on here. Just to kind of to start the conversation with this kind of stuff. And me doing a podcast, I love listening to podcasts because I don't have a whole lot of time to actually read, physical books and stuff. So I listen to audiobooks or shows on whatever. And there's one show I listen to called Impact Theory, and the guy has various topics that he covers, and every episode is like health theory or relationship theory, kind of on the whole theory gig that he does. But the health theory ones, he's been bringing on different guests on lately, talking about like keto and what have you, and the fads in a sense. But one that really I found to be super interesting was this guy was talking about lectins, like beans and different things, and that the leaky gut issues that people don't realize that they have, that is such a bad toxin for your system. And a lot of it is caused from lectins, and the lectin,
Hmm.
the plant, he's going back to like talking about the origins of plants. When they grow, certain plants create this certain toxin because they can't get up and walk away from predators, so they have to create a toxin to protect themselves from being eaten. And
Hmm.
certain lectins, which is in almost everything we eat in terms of an
Hmm.
ingredient and an additive, this toxin is now introduced into our system, which then can affect your stomach lining, which then can cause you to have leaky gut, which then you're having your shit and literally from your intestines and your stomach and stuff leaking into your body, which then
Absolutely.
leads to all kind of fucked up stuff that you start dealing with. And it was, it was stuff I never even really thought about, because the whole thing with uh, gluten issues. Gluten is like
Absolutely.
a lectin.
Yes, and my mom, I walked that journey hand in hand with my mom because she refused to stop eating red meat and potatoes and tomatoes and oranges, and she refused to stop drinking orange juice, and all of these things that created these lectins and these inflammation inside of her digestive system. Guess what? She had countless bleeding ulcers, and horrible blood
Yeah.
transfusions because of these bleeding ulcers. But her digestive system, that it was just being tormented by these lectins. And some people, if some people refuse to see these things, but it's based off of science. It's not just it's not just hearsay, or oh, it's she did it, but it's not going to work for me. These are lectins, and it's a scientific thing that happens inside of our body by based off of these foods.
Yeah.
So absolutely. And that with the blood type diet, it's based off of these doctors who studied over the course of 60 years all the four blood types and how different foods actually affected the four different digestive systems based off of the chemicals in the blood and the chemicals in the food, the reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like baking soda and vinegar. There's that chemical reaction.
Yep.
And so it's safe to say, that when I eat tomatoes, these lectins inside of that, nobody really should eat tomatoes, by the way, because it's like, and there's so many in it that doesn't agree with any four of the blood types. But um, it's creating this just digestive inflammation that if you choose to take control of it and see 6 weeks. Try it out for 6 weeks, as I say. You can go Google "eat right for your blood type" if you know your blood type, and just try and write down, put it on your little notepad on your phone, so it's on your like front screen, little sticky note, or even just write it on a sticky note. Write down 12 of the top 12 is negative foods for you and your blood type, and just cut that out of your life for 6 weeks. If you're A blood type, maybe cut out the meat, the red meat and the pork, and cut out some tomatoes and potatoes and carrots. If you're B blood type, cut out the chicken for 6 weeks and see what happens. I've known people with ALS no longer have it. Lou Gehrig's disease no longer have symptoms as much when they stopped eating chicken, because this chicken creates all of this inflammation inside of because of the lectins inside of the B blood type people.
Yeah, it's
So
wild.
it is wild. My girlfriend, I've known her since she was 6 years old. We were 6 years old together. Her whole family is blood type, and her uncle just died. Her husband's uncle died of ALS not too long ago, and she's went searching. And I gave her this book. She read it. She's bawling her eyes out, and she cut chicken out of everybody's diet from her family because she's like, I cannot believe this. We've all been eating chicken, and there's like doctors who've scientifically looked at this. Why don't more people talk about stuff like this?
Yeah, it's so true. And again, this is why I love having these kind of conversations on the show. It's a show for glass blowers. We can sit here and talk about glass and shop all day, but for me, I want to help the artists out there be the best person that they can be physically, so that they can make the best work that they can make out there.
Absolutely.
In the end.
Absolutely. And if there's a glass blower out there who wants to lose some weight, I mean, how my sister lost 165 pounds just eliminating these certain foods from her diet, and being more mindful and starting to meditate. And like, that's, walking, like, that's substantial. That's a lot of weight. And so, yeah, I would love to continue a conversation with anybody anybody who wants to talk about, just experiences or any guidance, because there's just so much we can't possibly get in
Yeah, exactly.
today.
Yeah. Well, something I did want to bring up though. You're talking about like the tomatoes and that kind of stuff, because something he was talking about that was like in the Western culture here, way we prep our food is really different compared to other cultures out there that have been doing and prepping like tomatoes and peppers and things for so long, for centuries and centuries and centuries. Where for us, we're such a new country over here, and our habits and the ways we do things are very new for us in a sense. And he was saying like tomatoes, for one thing, we're one of the few countries that don't really de-seed their tomatoes, and that seeds in the tomatoes are part of what causes the issues. It's not really the tomato itself; it's the seed. It's like jalapenos. Most of the heat from a jalapeno comes from the
Is in the
seed.
seed.
You
Yes.
know, and
Yes.
people that have any kind of shit gut issues. You have a little seed that gets stuck and you get diverticulitis or something like that going on.
Absolutely.
It can cause all kind of issues, having to have half your intestine removed. It's just
Mm.
it's so crazy. So it really got me thinking about it. And like you're talking about the chicken thing, he was telling a story where he was over in I think he was over in London. I don't know if it was somewhere over there, but anyways, he was saying that the chicken over there are fed fish meal basically, because they have so much waste from fish. They use that to feed the chickens with basically, and that his kids went over there and they wanted KFC, so they went and got KFC, and the chicken literally tasted like fish. Like his
Wow.
the kids were like, "You're tricking us by us eating this fish,"
Oh
quote
my
unquote.
God.
But because of what they were feeding the chickens again, it ain't what you eat, it's what you eats.
You are what you eat. You
It's
are.
so crazy thinking about that kind of shit. So
It is. It's
it's
funny because, well, I love the standards over there, anyways. But it's the flamencos are born gray
right.
and they actually turn pink because of the shrimp that they eat.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
it's
crazy.
wild.
So you are what you eat, and so important with your foods, man. If you had to, if you had to really understand how much nutrition your body needs to feel good, so that you don't feel pain, so that you don't feel inflammation, you'd have to. Oh my gosh, let's talk about spinach. It's 19 bowls of spinach you'd have to put on your table and be like, that's what I got to eat every day, based off of the fact that it's 2019 and the soil in America and where these foods are being grown have been so depleted
Hmm.
of minerals and nutrients that the spinach is now being grown less dense of nutrients, and so you have to eat more spinach to get more of the nutrients in it that your body needs.
Yeah,
um
so true.
since the 40s, this has been exponentially getting worse because of just the rate at which we're growing food. So food is less nutritious, and so really being aware of, damn, I can't eat like 15 or 20 bowls of spinach. What the hell? Like, that's ridiculous. I juice a lot. I juice every day. I'll take my salad. I'm not gonna eat it because, like, I love salads and I love vegetables, but I'm not gonna eat that much. So I do juice to get the nutrition in my body, and taking a nutritional supplement as well. I love this one whole food liquid vitamin because, damn it, my body needs it.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah. And on liquid vitamins, I experimented myself doing like multivitamins, but I got a liquid vitamin, and it was amazing how much better I felt taking liquid vitamins. Like it actually absorbed in my body, and I wasn't peeing
yeah,
out the stuff that my body didn't really need or didn't absorb. Because I took the
right.
liquid vitamin. It was interesting. You know,
Absolutely. I used to take a vitamin that my pee turned out yellow.
yeah,
And
exactly. It's because you're peeing that
yeah,
shit
and
out.
that's not good. That means that means something is happening, that your body is actually so quickly like that, that there's something in there, unless it's an excess amount of turmeric, but I don't think that it could change your pee that yellow that quickly. So it's just not good when you're taking a lot of pills,
Hmm.
as they're not being absorbed, like you said, in our system. And it's crazy the amount of people who are just pooping out these pills that have been at the last moment just crushed, but not able to be absorbed into the intestinal tract for
Yeah.
nutrition. So that's why the liquid it's I love it. I started taking my liquid vitamin. I guess that was like 2013 or 14, 2014, and I tout that as my savior that was my OG savior from fibromyalgia. I was taking 17 different pills and tablets, And my dad invited me to this like house party of this vitamin. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to no freaking house party for vitamins. It's like weird. It's my birthday. And he's like, come on, Mamita, I really want you to come with me. I don't know anybody there except for the one person. So I ended up going with him for a little while. I'm so glad I did. I took a shot of that juice while I was there. And I was like, peace out, people. I'm going out with my friends. And I went out to dinner with my friends. I don't know what that stuff was at that point, but I felt amazing the rest of the evening. So much so that I was like, that's it. I ordered my bottle the next day, after having talked to the scientific ingredient specialist who made the juice because I was so blown away by it. And I was able to come off of 17. Well, I do still take my probiotics, so I came off of 16 different medications and pills that I was taking to control my fibromyalgia and my Lyme disease.
Awesome.
So yeah, I love my liquid vitamin Protovite. It's the boss. It's great. So that is another one of the pillars, people. Nutrition and cellular renewal, because I do believe that your cells are able to renew with the right tools. And that's where my encouragement comes to you from, is making sure you have the right tools. Just like when I was 24, they told me my body cells were 46, and now I'm 42, and my body says I'm 28.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
amazing.
excited. It is amazing. And a lot of this pain is gone. A lot of the fat is gone. And the fat, the one thing with my fat, is it was interesting. I use whole body vibration. I use a whole body vibration machine now. Um, and that's one of the seven wellness pillars as well. And I've been to the gym 3 times since 2014, and 3 times I actually hurt myself.
Hmm.
I hurt myself because I was able to turn my fibromyalgia on for some reason. I think it's because when I go to the gym, I'm just one of these get it people. So I'm like doing like 100 like butt extensions and like
Yes,
um,
overdoing it.
I do it and I do it and I do it good, damn it. And the next day, there it is. For like 3 weeks. I can't freaking move. Because not only did I feel it in my muscles, but I feel it with the fibro, and then it shifts this whole nasty scale of pain and just whatever. And so since I've implemented the whole body vibration there machine into my life, I have turned my awesome body. When I lost my 70 pounds, I was what I call the skinny fat.
Hmm.
I was still, I was a size 4'6" in the waist, which is pretty good, little, for a girl, for a woman. But I had 23% body muscle, so low, and I had like 35% body fat. Oh my God, that was in a very high range, and this was after I had lost 70 pounds. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Why do I have like that much fat still? Well, jump forward now to me buying this whole body vibration machine in 2015, and don't you know, now my body says my body measurements are 34% body muscle on the normal days, and 23% or 22% body fat. Amazing.
Nice.
It has taken this whole body vibration machine has taken my body fat and my body muscle, and it completely just flip-flopped it. So, and having this 34% body muscle now allows me to hold my body in better position, have better posture, think better about my spine when I'm sitting and standing and walking, because I have better muscle strength at my core.
Yeah, that's so important. I know, like when I was doing my jump rope stuff, and I felt like my goal for before I hit 40, I wanted to be 40 with a visible six pack, and I got really, really close to having a visible six pack at 40. And it was amazing to be able to sit in my chair at work and feel the strength in my core to keep my whole body up. Like now my core
Right.
is weak because I got away from that, and I'm
Right.
going back to that
It so
space.
quickly goes away. It so sucks.
Yeah, it does. It sucks bad, and I notice a huge difference. Hence why I've had lower back issues, because my core strength
Yeah.
is shit right now.
Yeah, in 2011 I slipped and fell. I herniated 2 discs in my C4 C5 up in my neck.
Oh,
Oh my God.
goodness.
Doctors wanted to surgically, do the whole surgery to remove it and fuse it, put all that hardware in there. And I decided I was going to take it to the divine being inside of me, see what they thought. And I realized that I was on a journey to discover my healing, and it wasn't with surgery. And so that was 2012 that I walked away from the surgery as an option. And then in 2015, sorry, I found whole body vibration, Synergy Science Echo water machine, and I got the sauna in my house. And I've been able to strengthen my core in a way that, man, I can wake up with a really kinky neck if I sleep bad, but on the whole body vibration machine, which is a little stretching and breathing, and because my core muscle strength is already so there with the whole body vibration technology, I'm very able to quickly pull myself out of like a morning kink from my neck's herniated disc,
Yeah.
flare up or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's
Goodness.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the vibration machine, is it like literally? Is it like a mild vibration, or is it like the old school like belt around your waist? I mean, I know that's not the gimmick, but
Uh-huh.
like the belt around your
Yeah.
waist, shaking machines. Shake all the fat off in 3 days.
Yeah,
Kind of
that's what
thing.
to say. It's based off of that basically. It is. Well, that was actually that Shake It machine was based off of the research from NASA, um, who began using the whole body vibration technology, my God, way back in the 70s,
Hmm.
in the 50s. I think the first whole body vibration technology was discovered in the 1800s. And so in the 1950s, NASA I think, heard from Russia, but they were using it because what was happening was these astronauts were coming out from their out in space adventures, and when they're out there, there's no gravity, so everything's pulling away from the gravitational center, which is your body, your bones. So blood's pulling away from your bones, oxygen's pulling away from your bones. And you may have just seen the story of those two brothers.
I was about to bring
One
that up.
actually, twins,
Yeah.
one went up for a year and one stayed down. Astronomical differences in their body composition.
Yeah. So wild, right?
Amazing. And this whole body vibration technology, what it's doing is it's engaging your body, and it's almost like eliciting this G force in you, so that it's contracting your muscles, pumping blood and oxygen inside of your muscles, inside of your bones, pumping your lymphatic system. And so they were using this technology while they were out there to then counteract the damage that was done from being out there for an extended time. And that's where the studies began. I know the NFL started using it in the early 2000s. You'll see pictures on the internet of Denver Broncos and the Mannings using it. Peyton Manning. You'll see pictures of all these different football teams using it. I even had somebody at my studio from um, the Vikings come, and he lives like within 25 miles of my studio, and he was on it. He was like, "Oh my God, we have similar machine to this at our fitness and training facilities, but the one you have, oh my gosh, it's so much stronger, and it gets my muscles manipulated so much more than this little vibra plate that we have at the training facilities."
Yeah.
So there are differences in the vibrations. That one that they were using in the 70s in the Shake It machines, that was to shake off your fat. And yes, it does. Just like it took my body fat from 34%, 35% down to 22 to 23%. It shakes. What it does is, through the vibration, as you're standing on the machine, and you can go on my website, c-joy.com, the letter c-joy.com, and you'll see videos on there, under the home wellness page, of me standing on the whole body vibration machine. And so it's shaking your booty, and it looks super cute and funny, and people laugh. You can't help but laugh
I'm
because it's
sure.
shaking your body. It's shaking your nutsacks. I mean, everything's shaking. But what's happening is it's doing this, shaking the fat, creating this vibration, this friction, this heat this explosion. These particles of fat are being broken away from the old stored hardened fat, and now these small fat particles are being small enough to be grabbed, metabolized, and used as fuel for you and your body's energy. So we're breaking off the fat and using it as fuel for energy, reducing your fat, giving your body more energy.
Nice.
It is really nice. I work with an elderly couple. They bought the machine for their projects apartment. Believe it or not, they live in the projects, but their health was worth it. So they bought this $1,900 machine, plugged it in their house, their apartment, and she calls me a couple days later, says her husband has more energy than he's had in all these years because, and I told her, his body is now, it's circulation is starting to go, blood, oxygen, and the fat is being metabolized as fuel. So it's a pretty awesome way of shaking off the fat and using it as fuel. But it's also pretty awesome at turning the muscle into like a stack house. Like I said before, I could do a 5-minute plank on the whole body vibration machine. I get on plank like local. I had a couple local personal trainers come in for some sessions with me, and this 326 solid muscle black African beauty guy, he was just like so huge. He looked like, I don't know, some African god. He was like no fat, zero. He couldn't plank for more than a minute and like 50 seconds. And I kept planking for 2 minutes. I'm like, dude, where's your core muscle? Stop pounding all those weights and let's start talking about your core muscle strength, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. I remember, like, probably, God, 10 years ago now when I got into the gym and had a trainer, and I had no idea what planking was, and he's like, yeah, and it was a standard plank, on your elbows and on your toes, and my whole body's just vibrating, I'm like, what the shit? Like, everything was just becoming stimulated and just doing that plank, and it was
Absolutely.
incredible.
Everything from under your armpit muscles to your like ankle muscles, your fingertip muscles, and so yeah, when I walk people through the planks on your on your palms and on your tips of your toes there, I really just help people visualize that their body is one solid muscle and that you're using every single muscle together, because as I train people in the whole body vibration machine, the whole body vibration machine it's stimulating all of the little muscles, the very small fast twitch muscles, the muscles that you don't get to use at the gym when you're working out, or when even in a lot of these big CrossFit, they're using their big muscles, but not these small ones. So on the whole body vibration machine, we're just really focusing on letting all of your muscles be one solid stack house, so that you can move with grace, so that you can sit with grace, so that you can stand with grace, so that you can exercise with strength, right? And so when you can visualize as you're planking, when you can visualize your fingertips and your forearm muscles and then your booty muscles, and then you're just like shifting your body weight slowly from your butt, shifting it down to your calf, shifting it up to your forearm, shifting it back to your shoulders. You can sit there forever. I swear to God.
Yeah, I agree. And it almost becomes meditative in a sense too if you're breathing through it.
Yes.
It's pretty wild stuff. It's a good way to kind of just to push yourself, in terms of a physical limitation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that breath and meditation, I'm sure you get into a zone when you're blowing glass and you're just sitting there and, you're just breathing in, albeit it's the heat of the of the torch. Maybe you can, protect yourself. I've seen my friend wear like a t-shirt wrapped around his face, or a mask, because the heat can injure your delicate breathing passageways. And so breathing is important, and you want to encourage that, but I don't want to encourage like breathing in the flame of the torch if you're too close. But I'm sure when you're there and you just get into maybe it's the flicker of the flame, and you can hear that, or maybe it's your music playing. But I just encourage you to just find that breath pause and just breathe deep down, deep to your belly, deep down to the bottom of your butt where you're sitting, or just breathe deep down, and try and do like a a purge of all of your body from your toes. Take your breath from your toes, bring it up all the way through your shoulders, and exhale. Do not forget to exhale. So often people don't fully exhale, and what happens is, just like the exhaust of a car, if you don't fully exhale the exhaust of the car, it's going to get trapped inside and it can make you sick.
Yeah. I know, like, there's times where I'm with friends hanging out and I start yawning. They're like, "Why are you bored?" I'm like, "No, I'm just have too much carbon dioxide build up right now in my lungs. I got to purge that shit." You know?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's so
Be
funny.
mindful of that.
Yeah.
Be mindful every moment, man. It's such a, it's such a foo-foo term,
But
hippie foo-foo term, but come on,
no,
man.
it's true.
Masculate it. That's masculate being mindful.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, it's interesting going kind of connecting all the dots here with your pillars. You talk about the stress management and stuff, but it's amazing, if you incorporate the hydration, your diet, the exercise, the being mindful, and the meditation aspect of things, it's all encompassing. You're not going to lose the weight if your nutrition isn't there. You're going to have a higher body fat content because your body's in starvation mode because you're not feeding it properly. Your mindset's
Absolutely.
not going to be correct because your hormone levels are off because you're not feeding your body properly. And you're not
Yeah.
getting the exercise to burn off your shit. And then you go to the mindfulness and the breathing aspect of like a meditation. And I know for myself personally, 20 years of doing this, I didn't realize until probably about 8-9 years ago that at the torch, I'm not really getting these deep, healthy breaths or exhales because of this meditative kind of mode that I get into. It's a shallow breathing. And I was going up a flight of stairs one day, and I was like completely out of breath. I'm like, "What the hell is going on? I'm in pretty decent shape, but why am I out of breath for?" And it's because my cardiovascular was so off because of the hours and hours and hours standing behind my torch, breathing shallow. And then,
Absolutely.
so I had to start really getting that cardio going again to get my breath going to be able to help that circulation aspect go. So when I do take a flight of stairs, or if I want to go for a run, or which I don't, but I walk fast, I'm not out of breath.
Yeah, and it's hard to remember to breathe as deep as you should breathe.
Yeah.
Because it really is. It's pushing you beyond your lungs. You're going down to the bottom of like your tailbone.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
really feeling you from the bottom and then filling you all the way up and then exhaling it completely. And yeah, it is. It's a practice. It really is a practice. But dang it, it's going to help you with your creativity because it's going to give you more oxygen. You're going to be more creative. You're going to be able to flow more at the torch. You're going to have better ideas. And if you really find it difficult to breathe while you're at the torch, a good, healthy, deep breath, find that mask. Or, just take breaks every now and then and go outside or go somewhere and do some stretching and breathing. Some people call it yoga. I just call it stretching and breathing, but it's really what it is.
Yeah, I recommend always to do like a 3-hour shift and then take an hour off and then do a 3-hour shift and take an hour off. Just
Wonderful.
rotating that around.
Yeah, you're going to be so much more productive that way. Your business, man, it's your business is your life.
Yep.
And from that flows your creativity to propel your glass business, to propel your body business, to propel, like when I say body business, that's just like the business that is your body, pooping, breathing, being as awesome as you are, having the right muscle strength, having, the right brain capacity. All these things are interconnected to your creativity, which is going to really push your just artistic ability.
Yeah.
Man, people are so in the poops and in the dumps. When they feel like shit, you don't want to make anything. You don't want to do anything. It affects your whole life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's been a great talk. I definitely appreciate the conversation.
Thank you.
I could talk about this stuff all day. As you can tell, like I love this kind of topics and conversations, just for myself personally, but also, again, I have this podcast, so I like to share the stuff I get, And I'm not going to say take everything we're saying, just take it for what it is, but take this knowledge and do research on your own, and don't just
Absolutely
just take what we're saying for granted. Do your own
Yes,
research on this.
I'm not a doctor. I am simply somebody who's gone off and I've acquired a bunch of wellness certificates in holistic health and also in social justice. I'm keen on social justice, just because everybody has the ability, and that is ableism. I love to help people maintain that ability to be as awesome as they can be inside of their life. And it is a very full subject, and we can go on forever and ever, but
Yeah.
there's, basic pillars, somewhere to start, and just, just somewhere to start. Encourage you to start somewhere and keep it up and maintain that. So
Yeah, exactly. And like you're saying, the tools. I added a cold shower after I take a shower. I take a cold rinse every day. I've done this for 5 years now, every day. I was in Colorado 3 months ago, and I did a cold rinse, and it was my first time seeing snow falling out of the sky. So I wasn't expecting how cold this water was going to be, and holy shit, it was fucking. It was like painful, and it was amazing and stimulating, and I was so glad I did it.
awesome.
You know what I mean? It was just because I'm
Yeah.
in Florida, where like my cold water is like a fucking bathtub. It's like it's cold,
That's
but it's
awesome.
but
Yeah,
holy
we
shit.
did. I did a hot springs mineral soak inside of Asheville, North Carolina. Like some hot springs there in Asheville,
Mhm.
North Carolina. It was amazing, and then it was so freezing and outside. It was like maybe 45 degrees outside, and it was like rainy and like stormy, but we were in like a little cabana with this hot mineral hot tub, just jacuzzi of fresh spring water, your mineral spring water, and then you get out and you jump in like this water bin, or it's
Yeah,
so
it's incredible.
cold, it's so refreshing.
But it's so important, like always, like we're saying, you don't need to do all this in one day. To start adding little small things and routines and habits, and they become part of your. And it's not that it's a fad or a thing, a trend. It's a lifestyle. This becomes part of your
Lifestyle.
life, and then you can maintain it for the rest of your life. And
Absolutely.
you'll waver, and like you're saying, you're going to go to a party and have cookies and ice creams and cakes and feel like shit for a week afterwards, and then you'll get back on the wagon and keep going back to what you were doing before that. So it's just
And the perfection comes in when you can perfect the art of it, is you're going to learn how not to feel like shit for a week.
yeah, exactly.
You're going to learn how to take care of your body and take those magnesium pills that night that you ate the chicken cheesesteak and fries, so that the next morning it's evacuated from your body properly.
Yeah.
So that's one less thing that's going to be stuck inside of you. And then you can, do a sauna the next day just to help purge your body of any excess things. So yeah, you can still live a joyful life. And wherever you are, just it's about setting yourself up for success and just making sure that you have the right tools available to lead you down that road of success in your health and wellness journey, but also in your artistic and creative journey too.
Yeah, and it's literally like the cliche of starting your day off on the right foot. It's just you have to, and then everything else goes out from there. And even on days that don't
Absolutely.
start off on the right foot, you can turn it around
Yeah, that's
by
right.
smiling. The physical, motion of just smiling causes a chemical reaction. Physiological change in your brain chemistry, just from
Yes, it
smiling.
does. Yes, it does. It really does. People are like, "Oh my God, you're overly obnoxiously joyful." I'm just like, "Wow, you're overly obnoxiously negative, so I have to balance you out."
Exactly.
So, anyways, well, you can find me on social media at CJoy for Living. That's the number 4, CJoy for Living. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Jason.
And hang on after I do a little outro here. We'll say our goodbye off the air here. So, definitely stoked to have you on. And again, I'll have all of her links in the show notes, all the information, the studies and stuff, and some of the links that she sent me as well that I was still need to read. I like going into these interviews blind in a sense, so I'm gonna go back and read the links that you sent me, which I appreciate the information. And again, we're not doctors, we're not, whatever, but we are educated because we educate ourselves by listening and paying attention and studying. So do the same thing yourself. Make sure you go out there, listen to shows, podcast episodes, read books, find all kind of stuff. There's so much information out there. And don't just take one person's, what they're saying as the way to be. Make your own decisions, experiment with yourself, and be the best human being physically and emotionally that you can possibly be, and that then rubs off to people around you. And I hope you have stayed through this 2-hour chit chat with us, kind of nerding out about health and fun topics, but it's so important. So until next time, thanks again for listening, tuning into this episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show with our guest Chelsy Joy, and we'll
Thank
see
you.
you next time. Yeah, you're quite welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm such a nerd, but it's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime, hon. Y'all take it easy. Love you so much. Have a great night. Peace.
Take care, guys. Bye.
This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is brought to you by The Flow magazine. Since its inception, the focus of The Flow has been to provide a bond among members of the lampworking community.
In every issue, you can enjoy great content with the hottest artists and cutting-edge techniques using the latest industry products. These features, along with the continuation of our Women in Glass edition, Glasscraft Emerging Artist Awards, inspiring gallery showcases, dynamic general interest articles, as well as health and safety information, make The Flow the leading international lampworking journal. For more information or to subscribe to The Flow, go to theflowmagazine.com. That's theflowmagazine.com.